What's going on, everybody? Weather with Jonathan here, back again with your daily weather forecast. I hope all you guys are having a great day out there, and I'm enjoying my day, even though it's rainy. I hope all you guys are enjoying your weather. And speaking of weather, what's happening around the U.S.? Well, let's take a look at it. The United States. Currently, we have a pretty powerful low pressure center spinning off the northwestern coast of California and southwestern Oregon. This actually dropped, believe it or not, 33 millibars in the last 24 hours. So this is a very complex storm system or low pressure center and storm system, and this is very powerful. Also, then we also have a couple of thunder boomers down here in the deep south. Those are going to quickly move off. The only real threat we have for severe weather is in northern Florida or the panhandle of Florida, most meteorologists called it. And then we have a couple little rain showers moving across the Ohio region. And yeah. So now let's take a look at our NWS hazards because a decent amount of stuff has changed in the past 24 hours. And you can see right here, we have quite a couple of um, winter storm warnings in the West Coast and winter weather advisories and winter storm watches in the West Coast. Also, a couple wind advisories in the West Coast too. High wind warnings for eastern Arizona, and some red flag warnings for southeastern Colorado, or the eastern Four Corners region, I like to call it. A couple wind advisories down here in mainly South Texas, but a little Central Texas. Then a couple little freeze warnings in southwestern Virginia and northeastern Tennessee. So now let's take a look at what's going to be happening in the form of severe weather, because you guys probably do know, if you watched my most recent video, that I'm going to be showing you guys in this video severe weather. And also, speaking of my video, I don't think I told you this, guys, yet, but the reason I am uploading twice today is because I don't think I will be able to upload a video tomorrow because I actually am moving to a new house. So I hope you guys can excuse me at that. I should be able to upload Thursday. If not, I completely promise I'll be able to upload Friday, but I should be able to upload by Thursday. So back to our severe weather. Now, this low pressure center is so strong, and it's centered about right here over Nebraska and South Dakota. Now, this low pressure center is so strong that it's going to have a large warm sector, and that could actually fuel some thunderstorm development up here near the Sioux Falls region. But that could actually become a slight risk for severe weather. Now, the reason we do not currently have a slight risk anymore down here is also because of what the timing is and the dry line, because it only has dew points of about mid 50s ish. So that's not really going to support thunderstorm development. But you know what will support thunderstorm development? Tomorrow. And you can see right here, there is definitely enough moisture in the air. Low 60s, just about, to mid 60s. That's pretty decent, especially in this area right here. That's going to support a lot of thunderstorm development right there. And that could not just be in that specific area, but it could also form all the way back over here in the U.S. So now let's take a look at how much instability we have. And if you don't know what instability is, it's basically energy for these storms to work with. Yes, we have a little bit, but those storms aren't really going to eat it up. They're kind of just being nice, and they're going to let those storms pass because we have a cap in place. And those storms are going to be nice and let the other storms that will form have all that energy. But you know what's not good about it is that they have a lot more stuff to work with. And guess what? Since they didn't even interact with all the energy that was in place here, because with the cap, then they're just saving that energy and waiting for more to build up. And this is where we could have some pretty significant instability. Maybe about 1,000 to maybe even 2,000 joules in some places. This is a pretty complex event. I am pretty concerned about this, and this is very, very concerning. And we really have to watch out for the potential for not just that, but tornadoes. And guess what? You know what helps fuel or rotate thunderstorms and produce tornadoes? Our low level jet. So this is what our storms could be interacting with. And what's so concerning about this is that this is literally 5 a.m. in the morning. These storms are going to have low level jet to work with throughout the entire day. So these storms could definitely produce some very large tornadoes, potentially some strong tornadoes. And I really hope we do not see what we saw in Mississippi, but we potentially could. It's not looking 100% likely, but we potentially could. And then, yes, that low level jet really starts to kick in the afternoon. But we still have enough low level jet for just about the entire day. For the entire day, it's going to be racing in the atmosphere at about 50 to 70 knots. And eventually, in the evening hours, it could kick up 50 to 75 knots. So, that's a low level jet, and it'll just quickly move out. But eventually, when it moves out, it'll probably be mainly a damaging wind threat. So now, let's see what this system could be looking like as we head on to the U.S. And also, before this thing comes in, I just want to show you, we kind of have a little just bubble of cold air sitting over here, and ridge pretty much though. But it's also going to be diving down into the northeast, and we have a system coming in, and most of that precipitation is going to be in the form of snow. We could actually have some significant snow squalls up here in the northeast, so just prepare for that if you live in the northeast. Now let's go ahead and look at this storm system, and you can see this is Thursday in the afternoon. You can see we have a giant warm sector, a giant blob of just warm air across the central and eastern U.S. This is just exactly what we've been waiting for a storm to do it, and it's finally going to do it. It's finally going to be able to produce a humongous severe weather outbreak, and it could reach pretty far north this time, especially across this area of the U.S. Now watch what happens with this. Now, like I said earlier, there's actually enough thunderstorm development up here for probably a slight threat of severe thunderstorms. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has not noted that yet, but I think that could change by tomorrow or by the time this event rolls around. Now, you can see we have some convection really starting to happen around 8 a.m. here. This is Friday at 8 a.m. We really have that convection really starting to pop up here in northern Missouri and central Iowa, also southern Iowa. Of course, I can't rule you guys out because you are right smack in the middle of this risk. But you guys, if you didn't know, I'm kind of seeing a little bit of lighter colors, which is indicating that I think we're gonna have more of a discrete mode. But yes, like I did mention, eventually as this moves out, this will become a mainly damaging wind threat as it heads into eastern Illinois and Indiana. Now, so warm bubbles always are going to cause severe weather to the south also. So that's why we have quite some severe weather and thunderstorms down here in Dixie Alley. I apologize for what happened with my voice there. But yeah, and this has got a ton of cold air that is coming down with it. And you know what happens when precipitation interacts with that cold air? You're going to get snow, and this snow is really going to wrap around on the backside. And you could get snow as far north as as far south as northern Missouri. So that definitely happened, and then eventually that cold air really wraps behind it, and it could dump some snow on places like Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis. Maybe even could get in on some snow. Now that could actually lead to a little bit of some snow in the Northeast, but mostly that'll just not cause really much snow in the Northeast. We could see a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about that. You can see we definitely have some lighter colors on the radar right here, which is probably indicating that we're going to have a discrete mode. Now, eventually this will finally form into a line of storms around here near Illinois, but yeah, it's gonna be insane. And then our lightning flash, this is where our instantaneous lightning flash is. This is where lightning strikes could happen, or where some supercells could form and produce some lightning. Now, this is basically where some storms could fire up. You can clearly see this is why I think we could have that slight risk up here near Sioux Falls. It's cool, and it's not also not good because we're gonna have severe weather just active this week, very active. Then this is around 7 a.m. on Friday. We're gonna have some supercells up and down the Mississippi River Valley from Texas all the way up into Iowa and potentially Wisconsin. And then eventually you can see that forms into a damaging wind threat as it races off to the east. And then it could actually have a little marginal threat of severe weather up here in the Northeast. It's not looking extremely likely, but it definitely is possible. And I think we already do have that, but we do definitely have some supercells possible in the Northeast. So now let's take a look at our outlooks. So this is our day 3 outlook. You can see right here. That marginal risk still in Oklahoma and Texas is still there, but it got downgraded to a slight, it got downgraded from a slight risk to a marginal risk. Now they just added that marginal risk up here in Nebraska. Listen, you guys, I've said this multiple times in the video. I think I would expect this to get extended farther to the northeast into about southwest of Minneapolis, and maybe even put a tiny little slight risk in there if I were the Storm Prediction Center. Now, what's really bad about this event is this. So you can see right here, with what I'm showing you, we have a very large slight risk across portions of the Midwest and the southern portions of the United States. This is a very intense event. We also have a large enhanced risk extending from southern Iowa all the way down into northern Louisiana, or extreme northern Louisiana. And listen, we haven't had this yet, but I think they could add a moderate risk for this area. So we really got to start paying attention to that. So thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you for all the support. And you guys, I'll see you in my next video.